So the thing is going to intensify as you have now as a result of Americans not being able to buy. What's happening now in China, this thing is rippling back throughout, the whole world is tied together. China was the one that provided all the what? All the goods and stuff from Walmart. Well, what's happening is that Americans couldn't buy as a result of threat of job security, threat of the value of their house has been lost, and finally their pension and IRA have been lost. Well, they quit spending. And what happened was China had to lay off, factories closed, thousands of factories closed. You got what, 25, 30 million Chinamen out of work. They're rioting over there. Now that's over in the east. All the factories in China have just about shut down, and throughout Asia has shut down. Now the export nations such as Japan, they can't sell. Honda is down what, 30%. Taiwan's down 40%. Now even the Germans, which the Mercedes, they got Mercedes packed up on the docks. BMW, they can't sell BMWs now. So they're laying off. So what you got now in Europe and in the East, these export countries that export stuff to America. America was a great bazaar where Americans would go out and spill their last dime buying these foreign products. What happened? They went broke. And these other companies would have the factories and suppliers, they all broke too. See, so what happened? The whole system collapsed as a result of Wall Street selling those phony bonds to the whole world, and these banks collapsed. And as a result, the Americans are too dumb as a result of the press that those banks have to be nationalized and taken over and broken up into pieces. But these are bloodline banks. You know, we start talking about J.P. Morgan and Chase and Bear Stearns and the Lehman Brothers. All these your major banks, Bank of America, Wells. These are bloodline banks. Very powerful people own and have shares in them. So to take the banks over, the stockholders would lose all their investments and lose everything, the bondholders, and then divide the banks up into 5 different pieces. Then these people in the Empire State, they would lose their power. So this is the reason why they have had Obama. They told Obama, don't be messing with those banks. You give them a little bit more money, and they have continued to give them money. But for instance, as far as the blue collar, the factories, well, they pushed Chrysler into what? Bankruptcy, and General Motors is next. So what happened is the blue collar worker, you're talking about unemployment roughly, I'd say between 35 and maybe 45%. We probably won't hit 1 and 2, but you'll have 3 to 4 families in one house and one person working.
But ironically, Dr. Warren, is that we have this high unemployment, the stock market is going up.
Well, that's the Kool-Aid. They're telling people that the market is up, and they think that the economy is going to turn in the last quarter, third and fourth quarter, or 2010. In other words, even Obama said, well, the thing is possibly going to turn around. You can't turn this thing around. There's just too much debt in the system, and the more money they print up, the worse it gets, because this is the problem. Obama put his first budget in, and his first budget is $3 trillion. A $3 trillion budget this year. Now next year is another $2 or $3 trillion. Now that's $6 trillion. Well, who gonna buy the bonds? Americans don't have no savings. The Europeans won't buy the bonds. The Chinese guy they have 1.2 trillion. They said, no, we don't want the paper. See now, well, we want some gold or some silver, and the same thing. Everybody's refusing to buy the paper. So what happened? The Federal Reserve is buying our bonds, which, as a result, is causing to put more money in circulation. So we're going to have huge hyperinflation. Right. There's no way out. The only way out is for Obama to get on the TV screen and say, listen, fellow Americans, we have made a big mess of this thing. And the best way we can do is like a horse that's broken its leg. You got to put it under. We're going to put the country and everybody into bankruptcy in 3 or 4 years, like they did Chrysler, and wipe everybody's debt and start all over again. But see, if they did that, they'd wipe out like powerful families, wealth and stuff. They said, no, you ain't playing that. Right. See, now we'll save ourselves. And the people, the little people, well, then we ain't gonna worry about it. Now, a good movie to watch is, you remember Titanic when it was sinking? The poor people were down the stairs. They were down in 3rd, 4th, and 5th class. You know what they did to them folks? They locked the gates on them. And the lifeboats were only for the wealthy. And they fought among themselves. Right. See? So then my point to you today, folks, is if you intend to save anything, you better get some silver. These silver quarters and dimes that are hard to come by in Europe or whatever. Because everybody now, you know what they're doing to their paper? Everybody now is inflating their currency. So everybody's currency is being inflated around the world. The euro, the SWIFT, even now the SWIFT mark, the SWIFT banks have lent all the money to the Eastern Europeans, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Bulgaria, and got them in the real estate boom. The stuff blew up on them. Now they can't pay the loan back because they borrowed in francs or euros. Their currency has fallen what? Off the cliff, so they can't pay the loan back. So these banks are all in trouble. Banks around the world are insolvent. That's basically what we're talking about. Everybody's dead broke. And they are the nations of the world, the G20, the G7. The only solution they got is to lower interest rates and print up more money.
Well, can you explain it again to our conservative, so-called conservative friends who think that if we get a conservative Republican president, it's going to turn things around?
There's no turning this thing around. The debt is humongous, folks. I mean, how can you take? Listen, can you imagine $3 trillion that Obama, this is part of the Bush administration, but that's $3 trillion. Next year, you got to do the same thing. In other words, what it is, the economy is so laden with debt, they've been hit with steroids. Think of a patient that has a heart attack. They've been hit with these paddles. The patient would jump up. They say, stand clear. They hit it with the 20,000 volts. The body would jump off the thing. They say, stand back. We hit them again. Bam. If that don't do that, they take a needle and they go straight to the what? Heart. And pumping that adrenaline. They say, stand back. We hit it one more time. The guy may wake up, speak for a few hours, and die. That's what we at. That's where we at.
Well, I'm saying we got to get beyond the politics because it's not the state government, the local governments, everybody, and people, just regular people are bankrupt. Everything is bankrupt.
Everything is bankrupt. We live in the state of Illinois. We have 11.2% sales tax. I can't comprehend. I go to the store and spend $10. That's $1 tax. I said, man, this is crazy. And you can begin to see now at some point that people are going to be in a snap because wages are not going up. Everything is going up except for what? Wages. So that means at some point people are going to snap because the wages, the lifestyle has to be drastically cut back.
So you say the American dream is over?
It's over with. Consumers, if they wave the wand tomorrow morning and wiped out everybody's debt and said we're going to start over again, very few people would go into debt. They said, no, you fooled me once. Well, I'm not going to that much type of debt. They would never spend like they spent before.
But so are we ready to really change our lifestyle?
Well, see, what's going to change the lifestyle is pain.
Pain.
See, the only thing that cause people to change is pain.
That's right.
Wow.
See, when you put enough pain on somebody, they change.
That's right.
See what I'm saying? You remember the movie Cool Hand Luke?
Right.
See what I'm saying? He said, boss man, he said, my mind is straight now. My mind is straight. So they put some pain on them. And see, the system collapsed, and this is what Obama is trying to give us Kool-Aid. They're trying to soothe the pain.